Civic order, so keep the rounds of applause going as people approach the stage. First of all, please give a huge round of applause to Phil Davis, ladies and gentlemen. Another round of applause for Danny Peacock, ladies and gentlemen. Danny Peacock. Keep the applause going, welcome John Altman. Some of you need to separate reality from fiction, the well played. Please welcome to the stage Jeremy Child, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy Child. Keep the applause going and welcome Trevor Laird. Keep the applause going, welcome Mark Winnett, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it going for Toya Wilcox. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Phil Daniel. And last but not least, the man who will try to keep control of these people, Mr. Frank Royal, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on stage for this question. That was quite some reception, wasn't it? Do you get that, Phil Daniels? Do you get that everywhere you go? Just when there's 3,000 mods handy.
This lot was very special and I am a fantastic.
Well, it's an incredible response. And an incredible response to the film as well. At the end of the film, it's still very raw, it's still very emotional. Frank, can I ask you, how do you feel, you know, even over 30 years later, how do you feel watching it again?
Well, I must say, it's fantastic to see everybody here. That's the most amazing thing to me. The last time I saw the film was at the Whitley Bay Film Festival. myself and 10 fishermen, you know, but anyway, to see you all here tonight was just amazing, and it continues to shock us all, I think, that after, you know, all these years, you know, more than 30 years later, that people still enjoy the film, and it still seems...
You managed to direct those fight scenes with 3,000 of these buggers, and it just is beyond me. You were all there, well done you, my friend. That was a northern accent. Did you come down from up north to go and appear in a film? Didn't catch a word of that, but thank you for playing. Well, so that's Frank's response to the film. Can I ask Mark, how did you feel watching it? Because I was watching you while you were watching it, and it was still, you were still laughing, you were still part of it.
Well, it's so long ago now, it's like watching somebody else, you know. It's, there's this line, you know, that's lost continent in my youth, and that's what it feels like. It's a very strange experience, it's a very strange experience, and I think, well, I can speak for all of us, we all think everyone else is great except yourself, and going, oh, I didn't really do that, did I?
Oh, were you the youngest member of the cast at the time?
I was at the time, yeah.
You've got older than me now.
Yeah, I was 17 when I did it.
17. And Trevor, how did you feel about watching it again?
Pardon?
How did you feel about watching the film again?
Listen, I'm no mathematician, but by my calculations it was 38 years ago that film came out. And all I was saying, I spoke to the great Brian Tufano that shot the film, that was the director of photography, not that long ago, that I just thank Frank and Brian for making such a beautiful film. I'm just a kid.
absolutely.
It'll live forever because it's about kids growing up. You know, and my old mate Phil, I'm so happy, both Phils, but you know, Daniel's, you know, so happy to see such a great performance and such a wonderful, moving picture. Cheers, mate.
You're obviously quite a close-knit group, because you've obviously, I mean, this is 38 years ago, you do these events occasionally. But what do you think, can I ask us to Phil there, what do you think makes the film such an iconic film still? Is there something you can pinpoint, or?
Well, I suppose, it's the character of Jimmy, really. I mean, I suppose, for most of us, we all feel like we've been Jimmy at some stage. You know, you're not the coolest guy in the gang, you're the best looking. And you want to get the prettiest girl, and you don't, and life is going to be full of disappointments, and I suppose that's the secret of it. But I mean, you know, we didn't rehearse very much on the script, but we did get together and make a kind of gang of friends when we were doing our rehearsal period, and that I think was very important, because they do look like they know each other. They don't look like they've just met, and I think that was very important.
Absolutely. Can I? It comes across, doesn't it? It definitely comes across, that kind of thing. Jeremy, can I ask you then, if all the cast were getting together and they become this group of friends, did you hang out with them at all?
Did I hang out with them?
Yeah, did you hang out with all these young rapper mates that are just starting out?
Several members of the cast have asked me, so how did you get the part? And I said, I don't know. It's like 40 years ago, and I think my agent said, sort of get on a train, go to Brighton, be in James' another train. That's where I was. But I wouldn't have missed it.
It's that easy.
And I wouldn't have missed working with Frank Robin, who's an extraordinary director, and I think after 40 years or whatever it is, tonight's showing of this film was just knockout. It's a great film, so I'm just happy to be here.
Daniel, can I ask you a question? And this question has been sent in by Robin Say of Tatsfield. Is Robin in the house? Yeah, about 8 of you. That really is Quadrophenia. That is well done, mate. Daniel, can I ask you the question? Robin says it's still in a lot of people's favourite film list. What do you think makes it such a favourite with so many people? Such a favourite film, yeah.
Favourite film for so many people.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, I was, I did a couple of scenes in it, and I remember them incredibly well, because I think I had a really wonderful time. And I've got to be honest with you, all those, I think it's 37 years later or something, seeing all these people coming to see this film again and loving it again, I've got to be, and I love the fact that Frank Rollins here. I mean, like me, that guy is such a top man. Anyway, listen, I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Daniels. What a great night, eh? What a great night!
He's directing the Q&A now. Phil, can I ask you then, because it is still relevant for a lot of people today. I mean, like, a lot of people will have seen it when they were in the age group of the people in the film, but do you still feel it's relevant to you now? Exactly. So, do you feel the same way, Phil, when you watch it? How do you feel watching it?
Well, I'm still the same bloke.
Yeah.
And
somebody just said,
I don't take so many pills these days. But I feel great. It was nice to watch it after all these years, and it was good.
Good stuff. Now, Frank, when it first came out, it wasn't that well received. Did you? Obviously you were disappointed by that, but did you think that would be it? I mean, you're here 38 years later.
What was very interesting is that it wasn't greatly received in the UK, and I remember the guy from Evening Standard, slagging it off, and then Alexander Morgan, bless him, and when I went to the States, I was invited to go to Hollywood, and I went there, and about a year later the film came out in the States, and it was. They loved it there. I think Time magazine on Newsweek said the best film to come out of England in 20 years. I
think they tried to dub us all though, didn't they? Because they couldn't understand us.
that was like shocked that, you know, how much we received in the States, and then it came back to England. Funny enough, it seemed to come back and be successful. And then the next time I made a film in America, Alexander Walker slagged me off again. He said the wonderful Quadrophenia, but now he's gone to America and he's got himself a swimming pool. So, it did grow. I think, you know, the question that people ask is, when we made this film, did we realize that we were going to make something that would have a lasting effect? And the truth,
it's public, and we loved it.
the truth is, no, we didn't expect it. I was just glad to be at work. It was my first film. A lot of these actors were very new and very young, and we got a free hand from the Who and from the Who management. We had the best time. We had the best time. And I was 31 years old at the time, and I thought I was still 18 in my mind. And I was like thinking I'm a young guy. Then I started working with like 30 young guys and gals, and I realized that they were much younger and much happier, much brighter than people in their 30s. And it affected how I felt about the ending of the movie, you know, because they were fantastic to work with. They were tremendous. And there's something I should also say is that we had a very good script writer, working with myself, Martin Stellman. But it was a blueprint. When we got to make the movie, you know, I come from an improvisational school, and so did a lot of the actors, and we said, it's good, but we can make it better. If you've got a good suggestion for dialogue, do it better. And they did it. If you look at Phil, with the postman scene, when he knocks the bike down, that's all improvisation from Phil.
Any postman here? No, you can do.
But that sense of enjoyment really comes across. Toya, how did you come to get your role? Do you remember?
My career started with Phil Daniels. When I was 18, I was spotted on the streets of Birmingham with my yellow and green hair and invited to do a drama with Phil at Pebble Mill. And it got seen by a director at the National Theatre, and I was invited to join the National. So, I then get a call from Frank Rodden saying that, and we weren't going to talk about Johnny Rotten, but my connection was, could I give Johnny Rotten acting lessons to get him through a screen test for Quadrophenia? He didn't get the role, and he was actually really fabulous, and a fabulous human being, but Frank didn't give me a job. And I turned up outside Frank's office and I said, give me a fucking job! He hadn't cast Monkey, and I think you were very unsure about who should play Monkey, but he didn't know that I knew Phil. And Frank said, if you can come in here and do the party scene, snog Phil, the job is yours. Well, it wasn't a problem, was it?
No problem at all. That was good singing in that party, wasn't it? Oh, a lot went on.
So I got the job.
It sounds like a really arduous audition, that, definitely, yeah. Phil, do you remember your first audition for the role of Jimmy?
Yeah, I think I wasn't very well when I went to see Frank, and I wasn't well at all, and he just said, go home. And I went home. And then I come back and got a screen test, and, you know, once Johnny Rotten turned it down, what could I say?
He is fantastic in those butter adverts, though. He's gone on. That's all Toya's work.
Oh, yeah.
Phil, can I ask you about your audition? Do you remember your audition at the time?
Yeah, I had several. I remember one, we went to Frank's house and we were doing an improvisation that turned into the chemist scene. So we were all creeping around his kitchen, pretending to go through his cupboards and steal stuff. And then the phone went off and we all legged it into the garden, and he kept it in the script, and the phone went off. And then later on, I did a screen test too. The three of us screen tested for Jimmy. I have no problem with Phil getting the part. It was brilliant. So I mentioned this not out of sour grapes, because I was very happy to play Chalky. But I think I came in 3 or 4 times before it was set. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Chalky indeed, yes. While we've mentioned the Sex Pistols there, I read somewhere that Mark, that you had problems on set one day, and Frank, you had this system for, you had a gift or something to calm him down, is that right?
When I first met Mark, he was a punk. You know, he came in with his pants joined together, you know, and but I realised he would be very good for the part, and anyway, and he was, and he came on, he was good, but he was very young, he was 16, and when we got to Brighton, we'd only been filming about a week, and he said, I'm leaving. And he said, why? Because one of the guys, one of the assistants, spoke kind of unpleasantly to him, you know, told him off for having a love bite on his neck. And then, you know, and so he said, I'm leaving. And I thought, I can't leave, I need this guy, what can I do? It just so happened I had a shirt that Johnny Rotten had given to me. And what had happened is, it used to belong to Sid Vicious. And he had come to annoy Johnny one day, and Johnny had hit him with the blunt edge of an axe. And Sid had puked up. I got the shirt. I gave it to Mark, but I think his mother washed it.
My mum washed it. Thank you for not telling the real story, Frank.
Second story online.
That's amazing. Just how tough was Sid Vicious? You hit him with an axe and he throws up. Most people just fall down at that point.
It was the blunt end.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, have we got anybody who wants to ask some questions from out in the audience? Have we got anybody there? My usherette over there? Yeah, there's a gentleman with his hand up just by there. If you just make your way out, rather than, unless, you know, unless you can't, I shouldn't be asking that question.
Did any boys actually become, and girls, proper mods from the experience you had making a film? You actually getting a proper say and feel like you're proper mods?
Who wants to answer that question? Mark, when you started off as a pup, did you become a mod? Did it turn you to the right side?
I think when we were doing the film we felt like mods, but you know, we're actors and you many things, you know. But no, I don't think any of us were mods, but we have mod sympathies.
I'm still a mod.
I mean, you could say that the spirit of mod runs through us. The modern spirit is in us all. But you know, one thing I've noticed over the years, the 38 years since this picture was made, and being invited to functions like this and meeting mods, I've met mods of 75 years old, and I met a mod who's 6. Remember that little kid? Yeah, his parents. You know, and I don't know, it's just down to earth, real people who live for something that they love doing. And, you know, I think it's great, you know, but I wouldn't say I was a mod because I'm too old, really.
I was too young to be a mod, like the first time around in the 60s. And then after Quadrophenia came out, there was a sort of mod revival. But I'm not really a mod, and never was, but you are, I know that. But the thing about the mods is that when you look at the fashions of the 70s, I mean, they're a little bit daft, aren't they? You know, with the flared jeans and the funny hair, but the mod stuff still looks cool. And the music is still cool too. So mod lives on.
Well done, Phil. You tickled me nicely there. And Toy, you came from a punk background as well. Did you go into the mod thing at all, or did your audiences change?
Well, when we got the jobs within the film, we had to completely immerse ourselves.
Love you, Toya!
I love you too, thank you. We had to immerse ourselves completely in the culture. And what was so exciting was we met real mods, and they took us into their houses. And we went to a party in Fulham that really was one of the wildest experiences I've ever had, where we were given drugs, and we were taught how to dance, and then we went off on scooters at 4 in the morning round West London, and with these real mods, and we just had to completely immerse ourselves, and it was really so exciting. And Roger Daltrey said to me, he said, "You look just like my sister," and I thought that was the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me. So whether I'm was a model or not, I knew I got something right at the time.
And John, what about you? Were you ever a mod, John, or?
Was I a mod?
Yeah.
I was. Yeah. I was about 15, I had a mod haircut. I came and stayed with my aunt up in North London. I bought this, I went to Lord John on Carnaby Street. And I bought this double-breasted mohair jacket. That night, I had a date with a girl in Swiss Cottage at the Odeon there. And on the way home, it pissed with rain. And I got completely soaked. A bit like probably Jimmy in some scenes in Quadrophenia. I was gutted. I was so angry. My brand new mohair jacket was absolutely soaked. Luckily, I think my aunt probably fixed it all up. But yeah. I want to say a thank you here tonight to Frank Rodham, because a lot of us have been saying thanks to Frank. But number one, working with him was a pleasure. He was a man who got the job done. But as far as I could see or remember, he never lost his temper, and he had a hell of a job to do, because you don't get results like that. And Frank had an epic film to put together there. I mean, you had a great team there, didn't you? Kieran Phipps and yeah, a few others, yeah. Lastly, I want to thank Frank for the best day's work I ever had, lying in bed with a beautiful girl, waiting for the camera crew to come round. And getting interrupted by Jimmy. Whoa! Thanks, Frank. I thought, this is the life. Yeah, acting's all right. Thank
John
you.
Altman, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for John Altman. Have you got anybody over this side of the room who wants to ask questions? That gentleman's got his hand up there, Mr. Bellboy, if you can... Sorry, mate.
I was going to ask if this is for Frank, I guess, but the original Who album was obviously important to a lot of people, but how much did you get the cast to listen to the original album, or repeat Townsend's original idea, or did you just sort of just stick to the script and take it from there?
You know, the whole thing was, it grew, you know. First of all, I was asked if I would direct the film. I just had come on a successful drama film, and they loved it, and they said, would I direct the film? I met with Pete, and Pete brought along, we were at Wembley Studios, he brought along some tapes, and he'd re-orchestrated Quadrophenia with strings and cellos and the like. Now, he wanted to be like a rock opera like Tommy, and I didn't want to do that, and it was my first big meeting with him, and I said, wow, I better stand up here. So I said, look, I'm not going to do this. I think it's a street movie. I don't want to copycat Russell and Tommy. I want this to be an authentic boxer. I see it as a street movie, mostly a working class movie, and I want to use proper music, you know, that the people would listen to. So he agreed to that, and what they did was, instead of having to do the whole of the Quadrophenia music throughout the film, which had been unrealistic, they allowed me and permitted me and blessed the idea that we would use other tracks from the era. And so we put out a new album. One side was tracks from the period, and the other side of the LP was the Quadrophenia music. So I have to say that Pete Townsend was incredibly gracious. I met him, it's his baby, he created Quadrophenia. I said to him, I don't want to do this with this music. I only met him for about 5 minutes. The rest of the Who were also fantastic, and the management. So they basically said, cast unknown people, you can have them. I wanted them for a month so I could improvise with them and work with them and get them to know the scooters and ride confidently and dance properly and so forth. They let me have the month's rehearsal. They let me cast unknowns, relevant unknowns. And then they let us do the film we wanted to make. And I think it's very rare that, you know, if you work in Hollywood, they interfere. The great thing about this film is that the Who, or the management, or the producers, they didn't interfere. They let us do our work, and I tried to let the actors do their work. And when people say, why is the film still around, I think it's authentic. And it's authentic. What is most authentic about it is it's because of the acting. You know, it's because it's authentic emotions, and I just like to say, you know, I'm in great admiration of the fantastic cast.
Question for Sawyer.
Superb.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, gentlemen over there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the Q&A. Now, a huge round of applause for Frank Holland, John Motley, Tara Wilcox, Mark Wingate, Trevor Leonard, Phil Davis, Gemma Chapper, Dana Peacock, and Phil Daniels. Ladies and gentlemen. Rory. Before we let you go, we've got the best threads competition. So if you wouldn't mind just sticking around. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the results are in. Frank Ronald, Trevor Leonard, Tara Wilcox. We're going to set up the band very shortly and continue with the evening. We're going to have the live music coming next. Who's seen Who's Who before? Back to Who's Who? Excellent stuff. They'll be going on very shortly. Just need to get the cafe tables out of the way.